This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn Batteries keep you out there longer.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Wheel. We have a great episode for you today. We're going to speak with Tony from TDS Ladders to talk about the best ladder for RVers to carry, the Little Giant. In addition to this ladder, we're going to discuss a new product in roadside safety, the Izonis safety lights. Before we get into that discussion, however, we wanted to let everyone know that Battleborn has launched their two newest battery models. These are the model BB8D and the BBGC3 270 amp hour 12 volt deep cycle batteries. These have unique designs that make them adaptable to different storage areas. Check out the link in our show notes to see the details for these brand new batteries. Now, let's get into the conversation with Tony.
Hey, Tony, thanks for joining us today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at TDS Ladders?
Of course, and I appreciate you guys having me on, Kenny and Sean. So TDS Ladders is a company that I created along with two other partners because we used to sell direct from Little Giant Ladders. We traveled around to a lot of different shows. Started with Costco. A lot of people that shop at Costco will see road shows in there. That's kind of where I started with Little Giant. Home shows, different fairs, different trade shows. I'm trying to keep that going for Little Giant because they decided at the end of 2019 to no longer do that. Now, keep in mind, this has been almost, 48? They did about 48 years of doing events. That's how the company got started with Little Giant. I loved what I did, traveling around, selling a great product of Little Giant Ladders. And I approached my direct boss there. He was the sales manager at the time and said, hey, what if I do this and take over doing the shows just as a dealer since you're no longer going to sell direct? So we put it together. They had already had prepaid for some events to get a better deal without knowing that they were going to shut that down. And so I took that advantage of, hey, I can get some money back for you because you can't get this refunded. I can go out and make sales. We're going to get ladder sales. And then that helped me get going without having to put a ton of money up front myself. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing at TDS Ladders. Now I do have a partner here, Megan Spadafora. We have equal ownership in the company, and she was the secretary for that division. And so she helps me manage that part of booking those shows and then also finding new shows, which is why we kind of brought that Izonis that we'll talk about later. But that's kind of how TDS happened. It was just kind of I had to make a decision, liked what I was doing in life, and had a great product and saw an opportunity. And, we're just over a year in, and it's going great.
Nice.
So what does it mean exactly to be a factory direct outlet?
That kind of happened as far as becoming the factory outlet when COVID hit. We were just a dealer, considered a dealer, and we were selling at shows. COVID hit in March, and I was actually out at Pittsburgh at a large home show, and they shut that down. Events weren't happening, and that's what our whole business plan and model was doing these events. It's like, okay, I knew online was going to eventually happen, which we've done, decent with me not having a lot of experience doing e-commerce. But we started talking about opening up a local store. This was a question we'd get from people all the time and say, hey, where's your store at? Where's your Little Giant store? It's like, well, you got Nike outlets. You got all sorts of different outlets for different products and different companies. And I was like, well, if we can just start here at home base where people are familiar with Little Giant, plus I know there's overstock, there's scratch and dents that are still good enough products that we can get discounts on. So we kind of opened up this little storefront here locally. We're about probably 10 minutes from the Little Giant headquarters. And so That's kind of what it means to be factory direct, is we're actually selling anything and everything they have, but we also have the knowledge of the inner workings of Little Giant. So you're as close as you can get to direct with TDS Ladders. You can go through other dealers. There's a lot of dealers for Little Giant, but they're not going to have the knowledge, and they're not going to have the products, some of the products that we have, because either they're discontinued, they're overstock, or the pricing on certain products that are scratching dead. So that's kind of what it means to be a factory direct for us.
You probably started at a very scary time, actually, because when I was listening to your story, you said, at the end of 2019, you kind of took this over and that you were planning on continuing shows, but then 2020 happens, which kind of put a kibosh on, is that a word? I don't know, but a kibosh on shows. And I guess you had to quickly kind of think on your feet to change things around. That must have been a little terrifying when you're just starting out.
I wasn't terrified because I didn't think we would be this long. I thought COVID would happen and we'd be back in May or June. So I didn't really get that feeling of being scared about it. I kind of looked at, because April and May weren't busy times for me. A lot of the events we would do were January through March, and we were just winding down on that. And so I could look at it and say, okay, this gives me time to, I had a couple events and they got pushed back. They said, okay, we're going to do this in the fall instead of April or May. It kind of got a little bit scary when one of our biggest events, and it's kind of give a perspective, is starting out as a company, and I had this opportunity to go do $100,000 in sales in a month out in San Diego at the Del Mar Fair. Mm-hmm. When that canceled, it was kind of like, oh, I'm going to lose a lot of revenue this year. It's better now than when we have it established and we've grown to a certain point and we can't recalibrate. So it actually worked out for us to recalibrate. I was able to get online sales going, open up the store. Now I have 3 different avenues as shows start opening back up. I have 3 different ways I can sell to different customers, right? I got the online customer, I got the show customer, and then I've got that person that just needs to stop and get it right now customer. Okay. So they can come into the store. So it for us, it was actually a blessing, I would say. We were able to slow down instead of, because I came out the door going 100 miles an hour because I was running a business plan that had been there for 40 years. Right. Was ultimately what I did. So
you answered one of my questions. So you do have the physical store, but you can also do online shopping as well. So somebody goes to your website, they can pick out what they want. Are they able to contact you guys, get on the phone and ask you guys questions about it, about the Little Giant ladder and before they purchase?
Yes. A couple different ways. On our webpage, you can just do a contact us, email, send us a message, which I get. That's how you got to me.
Yep.
On that, in order for me to do any sort of marketing with Google through my Shopify store, I've got to have a phone number and an email there. So there's 2 different ways. And so I have people call me all the time. Plus we have messaging apps on our, I think 3 different messaging apps. We have an Apple, another one, Shop. That's what's great about Shopify is I can put these communication apps that just work right away. And I tell people all the time, call me. I'm going to give you, and what I do to separate TDS Ladders from any other dealer is, one, I have the knowledge, but I'm not going to just try to sell you on something to get a sale. Like I've had to tell people, hey, I can't get this ladder to you in a week. Here's where you should go get it. Here's a location close to you out in New York, or here's a dealer out there that will carry this product you're looking for. I can't get it right now in the time you need because you need it in 2 days. And to ship a 60-pound ladder in a 2-day time period, plus the communication that I have to go through, it's not going to work. So it's about being transparent and being in this. If I want to keep it long-term, I've got to be honest with people on how this works. So I've kind of been open in that, like, hey, talk to me and I'll let you know why you should buy it from me or why you shouldn't buy it from me.
I noticed when you were talking about the shows and stuff, you do probably a lot of home shows and shows like that. Do you ever do RV shows?
I kind of took over just the shows that Little Giant had been doing for a long time. And the Super Show in Tampa that we just did in February, that's been one that's been successful for us. Get a lot of people there. That was my first experience doing it myself. There were other coworkers when I was at Little Giant that had done it. The understanding the RV world, because I don't have an RV. I learned a lot about what they need ladder wise and not being satisfied with the other options on the market, but also not completely understanding Little Giant until I explained it to them. And then they're, oh, okay, this makes sense. I have to give up something here because with RVs, you're dealing with the weight and the storage, which you can only go so small. But then when you give up weight and go smaller, you can't reach what you need. And then you're not safe and you're not stable. So there's a fine line there. But then as we get into what Izonis is too, that opened my eyes like, hey, we can bring products that are quality products to a lot of different places. So for example, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with it in the RV world, but Barrett-Jackson. Okay. So we're looking into going down to, I think this is their biggest event, the Barrett-Jackson auction in Scottsdale in March. So we're going to take the ladders down there. And the fact is, and we're going to do more RV shows, especially local here. Like you guys mentioned the one here in Salt Lake. We're going to try to get into those because I don't have to take on all the expenses of travel either because, hey, you're coming through. And then now that I have a website that I can direct you to, and we had a personal conversation, I can give you better deals. Even if you don't buy here. And that was the whole thing with shows is you go to the show and people are trying to sell there. So they give you a promotional deal, right? But I can give that to you even after. So I have kind of set up some discount codes for your viewers that are RVers for both the lights and the things that we can add at the end here.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. So I just want to throw out there that I believe that Little Giant is the best ladder for RVers. I don't think you will have an issue at the show selling ladders whatsoever. I've had my Little Giant for 4 years. And I keep it in a cargo bay. It folds up small enough that I can keep it in a cargo bay. I have a Class A motorhome. It's 12 feet, some inches tall, and I can unfold it and get to the roof. I think it's the perfect accessory for RVers. It's lightweight. I guess is it aluminum?
It is aluminum.
Okay.
There's only a few parts that are in aluminum on that, and that's for weight bearing.
Yeah, and the most surprising thing about my Little Giant ladder, I guess it is because it's aluminum and it's probably like kind of corrosive resistant or whatever. It looks brand new still. Like it looks almost identical to when I bought it 4 years ago, and I use it all the time. Before you got on here, I was telling Sean that I was on the ladder earlier this week cleaning my slide tracks. Before that, I was cleaning the windshield. But like it's so convenient to use. It really is a great product. And I think you guys will have no problem at all selling at RV shows. It will probably sell itself.
Yep. And I'll tell you this too, Kenny, with that, when we get out there, and this was my experience this year, is when we get out there in front of these RVers, they're looking for something in particular with the ladder, right? They're looking for small and lightweight, but also versatile. Now, there's another ladder that a lot of RVers have, and there's a couple different brands, but it's the little tiny, and they telescope up, but it doesn't do an A-frame, right? It gets smaller as it goes up, and I get a lot of people that get those, and there's better quality ones, right? Little Giant actually, a couple of years ago, was going to take and be a dealer for another company. They were going to partner with another company that made one of those, and they actually took that down to that same RV show in Tampa. And when people saw them side by side and got the education on what was possible, it was always the Little Giant multi-position ladder over this other telescope ladder. Because to give up that versatility and that safety that the Little Giant gave you just for storage, people wouldn't go for it. So that's why shows are still important. We're in this weird time where everybody thinks everything can be done online. It's like most of my customers online still call me to ask questions to a person. They don't want to talk to the bot that I have. We have some basic questions, but they still want to come to a person and ask these questions. So as we get in front of people at these RV shows, people will understand the importance of having that ladder just like you do.
Yeah. I think that A-frame is my favorite feature. You can set it up in a traditional ladder, just lean it against the RV. But a lot of times I find myself setting it up in the A-frame position. I like that because I just feel a little bit more sturdy and more stable on it. And I also like that you can, I don't know if this is the correct terminology, but you can set it up to be a offset A. Your back legs could be shorter than your front legs, and I can have a little bit more of a lean on it. And I just feel a little bit more secure when I'm climbing up and down it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always, and this is how I explain it to people during a demonstration, is if you can have 4 feet on the ground versus 2, you're going to be a lot more stable. Then you have more adjustability for that, what we would call a staircase is kind of what it's known for. Staircase access is what they call it. But I mean, you can use it on hills. You can use it on, I've used it on a, putting one leg up on a table because I got a light over the table and I don't want to move this big 8-foot conference table, right? So I put the feet up there and make the other side longer. Now, there's some newer features with some of the newer ladders that have come out where there's leg levelers that adjust individually. So you guys are traveling around different parks, different spots. You don't know where you're going to be, and it's not going to be. And this is what I tell people all the time. I go to Kansas. Kansas is flat, right? Well, Kansas isn't level. You go in your yard. Yeah, my yard's flat. It's like, yeah, you're going to find that much off here at the ground. You're going to be 9 inches to a foot off at the top, and that lean is not very good. So those additional things that Little Giants innovated on, and that's been what separated them in the last probably 10 to 12 years, is these innovations, right? There's ladder accidents all the time. I mean, there's 2,000 ladder accidents a day in the US alone. And the stats are at least one person dies every day on a ladder. This is a tool that's been around forever. And I didn't know this until I got into the ladder industry. And then you talk to people and people know somebody that's been injured on a ladder or hurt on a ladder. That's why Little Giant doesn't go cheap and make they can make cheaper ladders and sell them for $60, right? But the repercussions of that aren't what they want. They want to sell you one ladder one time, you're done, and you're safe. Oh, but now we can come up with a new innovation that makes it even safer. So you can go buy a second Little Giant if you want. So that's what it's all about. Like they're in the factory that I go down to here in Springville. Little Giant's main headquarters have been there since the beginning and in the same area. They've got big banners out there that have these stats like, hey, remember, we're about saving lives. That's in the factory where they make the ladder. So it's always on those people's mind so they don't take shortcuts.
How many different models of ladders are there? And if you were going to sell a ladder to an RVer, is there a particular model that has a smaller folded up footprint that you would recommend for people that need a ladder for their RV? Because like for instance, I have a 6-foot ladder. It takes up my whole storage bay when I'm carrying it, unless I strap it to the back or something. But I've seen on your website that there's the footprint when it's folded up is much smaller than the full size of the ladder.
Yeah, so that's a great question. That's the most common question at a show is size-wise. What I found out is the tallest RV that we'd find is about 13 and a half, and that was including some sort of air conditioning unit on the top was an extra 6 inches. So to actually get on, it was 13, 12 and a half, 13. So the model, and this is where people really get confused and why I get a lot of questions, because the way Little Giant determines sizes is model number, which is model 17, and that means the size. But we have a Mega Max, we have a Mega Light, we have an Epic, we have a Revolution, we have a Velocity. Those are all, there's 5 right there, multi-purpose ladders. They all do the same thing. They might have just little different features, different locking systems. But if I were to tell anybody to simplify it, you're worried about size first, and then add and find the features you want. Okay. So for example, size for an RV, model 17. So a model 17 is the size most people would go with for storage and for weight. It stores about 4 feet, 7 inches.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Yep. Yeah. 4 feet 7. So you're just over 4.5. Bottom base is, I think, and it can kind of vary a little bit on each series is what we'll call them. It's the different, named ladders, but it's right around 2 feet wide. And then the thickness is about 9 inches thick from rung, outside rung to outside rung. I didn't know these specs as specific as I do now until I went and did the RV show, because I got asked that question. So I had to go, do a little studying on that and get down to those particulars. A model 17, and then from there, you're going to want to determine the biggest features for RVs that we found are the leg levelers. One, because like I said, you don't know where you're going to be. You want to be able to adjust and make it safer. Our newest ladder called the Epic, which you can kind of see the banner behind me, has these new safety rails. The one in the middle where it goes around the window, they have little pads on it, so it protects the RV. You're not leaning the ladder against it, but they also can go vertical. The problem is people climbing onto their RV from the ladder on the back, right? From the back ladder, is getting back down because they have to get down to their knee, and then they're trying to find the rung, and then there's nothing to hold on to. So these give you safety rails. This Epic series is what we demonstrated at the RV show. It's the newest ladder. It's been out not even 2 years yet with Little Giant. Okay. And it's the only ladder. Well, there's one other version of Little Giant that you can get these with, but they're sold separately. These safety rails come with that ladder all the time. So those are the two biggest features that people liked with the Little Giant. With the Epic series, Model 17, you're getting the safety rails and the levelers included, which protects the side of your RV, makes it easier to get it on and off, and you have the levelers at the bottom. So for the safety, and they don't take up, it doesn't add a ton of extra storage. You're not, we do have accessories that you can add to it, but they all store with it pretty much within that same parameters that I gave you. So that's our number one seller in my mind, because that's the safest.
The safety rails are awesome idea because, like you said, it protects the RV, and it also provides a little more stability at the top end.
Yeah. And I'm curious, Tony, does that horizontal bar, is that adjustable in the width? Can you make that narrower? Oh, you can. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it comes down to, I believe it's 56 to 86 inches. So even if you had a window, you gotta get around to kind of wash or, put a new screen in your awning, something with the awning. It's going to give you that adjustability. So you're sitting on something structurally sound. You're not going to put your ladder right through that window or have to reach out to the side. You can position your ladder, but 56 to 86 inches wide and at 3-inch increments on each safety rail. So it's not recommended to offset them. People want a solution, a perfect solution for every problem, but not everybody's situation is the same.
Right. So when you say it's a 3-inch incremation, is it lockable? So it locks into place every 3 inches?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen that, Sean. I can tell you it would be very useful for my RV. I'm thinking about times like trying to get around my door frame, like the entryway, and like he said, the windows as well.
This has been a common question for a long time is, do you guys have anything that's adjustable? Because that 4-foot fixed wingspan is what they would call it in this position, doesn't go around what I need it to go around. It's not wide enough. So they finally came up with a solution with the safety rails there. So those are included with the Epic ladder. You can go get our lower end models or older models or more basic models, however you want to phrase it. You're not going to be able to add those at any point.
That's what I was only asked. So that safety rail wouldn't be able to attach to my existing Little Giant. Okay. That's what I figured, but I figured I'd ask.
Yeah. And that's the thing is it's all about safety. With ladders, because of the regulations with Ocean ANSI, they don't want you to alter your ladder.
Right. Yeah. Now that makes sense. And I think you said it took 2-3 years of going through to make sure to pass all those regulations. That's one thing that Sean and I have learned from doing this show is just how much time is spent in R&D before something can reach the market, from the time you have your idea and then, like you said, regulations, it's got to be safe.
Yep. And then beyond that, you have some sort of warranty, right?
That was my next question, actually, was with the newer ladders, Little Giant ladders, what is a warranty on a ladder?
So the aluminum, because Little Giant has expanded into some fiberglass ladders, and just the nature of fiberglass and the way those fibers are going to eventually separate, that those only have usually about a 1-year warranty. The aluminum multi-purpose ladders, not just all the aluminum, but the multi-purpose that are adjustable, that are ideal for an RVer, have a lifetime warranty. Now they call it, yeah, right. In fact, there's a couple different ways around that. So warranties are always tricky. And I've been working with Roger, the CEO of Isonis, on his warranty. And how do you let people know, and how do they register it? And how do you monitor and track it? It gets a little bit tricky. And I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with that. How many times do they sell you with a warranty and you never even use it, right?
Yeah.
That's usually how it works. If it's a good product.
Yeah. So lifetime warranty covers manufacturing defects. If the leg levelers don't retract, if the twist locks or the mechanism that adjusts, or the hinge that changes the shape, if those are defective, which they're usually going to be defective right off the bat, for the most part, is when you're going to experience it. Overuse, they don't really cover it under regular wear and tear, but it has a lifetime warranty. Now, that doesn't cover everything, right? You can't drop it out of the back of your truck or off the RV on the freeway and then go back and pick it up and say, hey, my ladder bent, right? The good news is, and a lot of people don't know this because most people buy their ladder from a home center. They go down to Lowe's, they go down to the hardware store, they go to Walmart, and you buy this ladder and it's 60, 80, $100, right? And if your ladder breaks, you're just going to go buy a new ladder. And in fact, a lot of ladders, when they break, it's kind of planned obsolescence. It wasn't made to last forever. That's why they didn't offer a lifetime warranty, right? Some of them don't even offer a warranty. So planned obsolescence is kind of tricky, but you can buy parts and pieces for Little Giant ladders. So if you damage, and this is a common one, not that an RVer would use it, this would happen, but if you bent the outside leg, the lower section of that ladder, not the inside square part, right? But if you bent that, you can just buy that whole outside section instead of buying a whole new ladder.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So instead of spending, another $300 on a Little Giant ladder, you're spending $150 and you have the same ladder and it's half the price, but you have the ladder that makes you safe and is versatile and does your job. Okay, you can get wheels. In fact, most of the time I could get you wheels for free if you bought your ladder through me. That's not going to be through the manufacturer. So that's the other advantage with warranties is buying through somebody that understands how the actual factory warranty works. If you were to contact me, I can be your liaison to them and say, hey, here's the situation. They bought this ladder from me at the show. We were out there doing, marketing, and I consider marketing and advertising. That's what I'm doing for Little Giant and sales, right? I'm doing it all for them and it benefits me, obviously, as a business owner. But I have people call me and I talked to somebody and it doesn't cover it under the warranty. How can I get them? Okay, well, here's the deal. You can buy the wheels, right? Or you can buy this part, or you can buy a whole new ladder. Those are your options. If it's something as cheap as a wheel and you bought it through me, thank you for your business. Here's something in return. I'm going to send you out a free set of wheels.
That's
right?
Nice.
So there's a couple of advantages with that warranty with Little Giant. The warranty itself that covers defective if it's not your fault. If it is your fault, you can at least get it fixed. In fact, part of the thing with this factory store that I have here locally, because we're close to the factory, people come in and they have something like a broken weld, right? Just happens. These guys are in the trade. They're using these ladders hard. Weld breaks, right? I've had a guy, an electrician, I said, yeah, take your ladder over there. They'll weld it back up for you.
Okay.
So they can fix it. It's a little bit harder. And you're not going to ship a ladder from New York to Utah to get it fixed and then back because the cost to ship these ladders is not cheap.
I was thinking having the Little Giant factory right there so close to you must be an advantage. Is that how storage works as far as your inventory? Is everything coming from them or do you have your own inventory?
I do have my own inventory with this store now.
Okay.
I keep my most popular sellers here. I don't have a ton of space. I actually have more space that I rent out part of it to my brother of the building right now as we grow. So he's renting that and I have more space. But yes, I'm 10 minutes away. I'm going to go down today and pick up more inventory from them. That's one of the things that Little Giant liked about what we did here with opening up the store, because we only sell Little Giants, where a lot of their other dealers sell other brands too.
Yeah.
They're selling a competitor. So their focus isn't on just selling Little Giants. Their focus is selling on anything in the store. That's our main focus is just, hey, Little Giants. We don't sell anything else. We don't this is why we don't, because this is a superior product to anything else on the market. Now, being local, I can take what it would cost to ship it, even though people get free shipping on my website. There's a cost to shipping for somebody. So we take that on. But my prices here, and because I don't advertise them publicly, I don't have to stick to MAP pricing, the minimum advertised pricing. I try to, but I can negotiate a little bit face to face to make this work, right? People come in the store, $200. Can you do 180? Sure. You don't get that. That's confusing for me with corporate America. You can't walk in and negotiate like that. And I enjoy that because my dad was a business owner growing up. He had a cabinet shop and people, he was just a giving guy. People come, hey, can you make me a bathroom vanity? Yeah. How much are you? Nothing. I'll do it. I can do it like that. And it wasn't all the time, but that was like kind of the mentality of, hey, we can negotiate this for that. Okay. You're getting, like, my brother does gutters. He's bought 6 ladders from me, but when he first started, he couldn't buy a $300 ladder.
Right.
He couldn't buy the best ladder for what he needed. He wanted it. So we can offer that. And that's how I try to separate myself from the big companies like Amazon and Lowe's, and Costco is, hey, let's talk what can work for you and work for me, that I can stay in business, because if I'm not in business, you can't get deals like this, but let's get you deals. So that's kind of the advantage of being close to Little Giant too, is if I don't have it in stock, I can get it quick. I do have stuff in stock where most dealers don't. Most of them just drop ship. There's very few places you can walk in and just buy a Little Giant, but they still sell Little Giant ladders. So like Home Depot, you can go on Home Depot, you're not going to see Little Giant ladders. They still sell them. They just sell them on their website.
I didn't know that they didn't sell them in the store. Okay.
Yeah, Lowe's does. And that's been a new thing, and that's kind of something I have to navigate as a dealer, because they have a great product, but it's not quite the Epic, and that's why I push the Epic. It's close, but then what I can do with the accessories and the extra options, they won't do.
Okay, so they're not selling all the Little Giant products. Yeah. They're just whatever moves for them, I guess.
Yeah, they're very particular on what they get, and it has to work for them without hardly any effort.
Okay.
And there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of effort behind the scenes, but as far as like, it should just sell off the shelf without anybody having to give any sort of explanation.
Well, I would imagine too, at a Lowe's, and I'm not trying to knock Lowe's or any box store, but I would doubt that there's somebody there that you could ask questions about the Little Giant and do demonstrations and show you all the little features that it offers. I mean, it's just not the way those stores usually operate.
Yeah. I've been at a home show where a Lowe's employee was there they had a little booth at the home show, pushing the local Lowe's deals and paint and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And like, oh yeah, we sell Little Giant ladders. And he's like, I've never seen them work like that before. It's like, that's what separates. And I've had several people that I've had to tell them, go buy it at Lowe's, because I can't compete with their deal they're doing now, or that's going to be more what you need. But then I've had people from Lowe's that come say, oh my gosh, like they couldn't tell me this or that or this or that. And it's understandable. Like I said, they're selling so many other products that this is weird for me to say, because I never thought I'd be a ladder expert, but I could say that I'm a ladder expert and I know way more about ladders than I want to. But at the same time, it's like, I didn't realize how many people use them. If you dare get on one, because I have people that just flat out don't get on them.
I am afraid of heights, but I always feel very secure on the Little Giant. Like I said, I'm nervous about heights, but the thing is like rock solid.
Let's shift gears a little bit, Tony. And you talked about a product called Izonus.
Izonus, Izonus, like Eyes on Us. Yeah. So Sean, that was the backstory on that is this product was developed by a Utah highway patrolman. He got sick of using road flares for controlling traffic, lighting them, setting them up, having to relight them and set them up if he was there for long enough, putting them out. You can't reuse them. They'd burn his uniform when they kick him, off the side of the road, all sorts of things. Other products on the market just didn't meet his needs. There's little round pucks that people see. You can see these in truck stops. It's kind of a rubber puck, and it's got 16 LED lights to go. And you have to have a screwdriver to get the battery out, and they're not very bright. They're one color. And you can get them in different colors from different companies. But if you want the professional grade one, right, you want to go to the professional grade, you're paying a lot of money for it, because these are being sold to agencies, police departments, Department of Transportation, things like that. So the cost was not effective for a consumer. So this was developed because he couldn't find a product. And I'm going to show you guys here. I've got a set that we kind of pushed at the RV show that a lot of RVers liked because of storage and what they get. So road safety is huge for RVers, because you're always on the road. You never know when you have to pull over. You're in a big vehicle, hard to miss, right? There's all sorts of stories. I had an RVer. I was actually out in St. George here in Utah, down close to Vegas. And I just put these lights. This is the first time I ever put these lights in a booth with the ladders. I just had them in the back flashing, and this person bought it, and they said, I was out getting my RV or my trailer ready to go, and it was sticking out into the road a little bit, and I walked around the corner, about got hit by a car, like just working around, just prepping to get going. So they're like, yeah, these are gonna work. So couldn't find what he wanted, right? Came up with this product, and their kind of slogan to start out with was, this is not a toy, because a lot of the other ones look like little toys. This is the Izonus Pro Series light. Okay. This is the red. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too bright. Yeah. Notice you got two different modes there, right? So very, very visible. Flashing is going to be more emergency. This is going to be more of, hey, just be aware, right? Caution. The other side is a white light. You notified the traffic that something's going on, right? Now they can see where you're at and where you're working. That what we call the safe zone, illuminating the vehicle and you, right? So you got a warning, and then you can also use this as a beacon or a flash to warn people. This is very visible during the day as well as the red. Okay,
it's a smart idea to have the white light on one side and I guess you could call them almost like hazard lights on the other side. I thought it was like a hazard light all the way around. And for anybody that's listening, it's larger than a hockey puck. But if you imagine like a inflated hockey puck, and it's got lights, and it's got the red flashing lights on one side of it, and then a bright white light on the other side to illuminate. See, when you were saying that it lights up your vehicle so people could see it, I was actually thinking that it's lighting up the vehicle so that you could actually do some work on it while having protection of the hazard light on the other side. You know, I could light up the tire that maybe I'm changing or on my trailer or something like that.
No, exactly. You can do that because these are magnetic. Okay. These cone tops they make, and I'll kind of go over the cones here in a little bit. But that's a 90-pound magnet. They have big traffic cones, 36-inch traffic cone, and those are pretty heavy. I don't know the terms yet because this is such a new product and new industry for me. But there's certain grade of traffic cone that Department of Transportation or the highways require you to have, and this product can be for so many different industries. But you can take that 36-inch cone and just pick it up. Okay, I mean these are strong. Some people have a hard time getting it off of this if you don't do it the correct way. But that's because you're on the side of the road. You got big diesels flying by. You don't want your light getting flipped over, right? So the magnet you can actually take, and I took it and put this on my car right above the tire.
Oh.
Okay. I put the white light on there, and then I took and I put the flashing light, and I put another one facing away from me, or I opened the trunk and I put it up on top of the trunk when the trunk's open, because that's a higher elevation. It's going to be more visible.
That's a good idea.
Right. So there's a couple different ways you can use this. I took them in the backyard and I put them around the tramp with the white light on and let my kids have a fight night. We got 2 boys a year and a half apart. You know, go at it. I put them on the cones around the yard as a yard light. I was just messing around with it, and it's like, oh, there's a lot of different uses if you wanted to. The main purpose of it is for safety, roadside safety, right? But yes, that gives you that work light, gives you that notification. You notice this one is amber. Okay. So there's red, there's amber. There's also blue one. We didn't take those down to the RV show because blue is going to be more law enforcement. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And we make a different case for law enforcement. Anybody can really buy it if they want, but that's the focus of it. It's the same size as a flare case that they would carry in their vehicle. Okay. So this right here, that's the Isonis Pro Series light. You got a red, you got amber, you got the white working light, you got the magnet. They're also stackable.
How long will the battery last in them? And as far as weatherproofing, rain, snow, they're okay in the elements?
So a lot of products have a hard time saying waterproof.
Right.
They're water resistant as long as you don't get water on the inside. They float. Isonis and Roger's done some videos with a little remote control boat pulling them around the lake, and they're fine. So they're water resistant. So out in the snow, out in the rain, on the side of the road, you're gonna be fine. As far as battery life, so you got 3 AA batteries in here, and the way that is, remember the other one we talked about? You had to have a screwdriver. You had to have a Phillips screwdriver to take the bottom off.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Do you know exactly where your Phillips screwdriver is in your RV?
I have an idea, but not an exact. Yeah.
and then there's probably a bunch of stuff around it, and you got to move stuff around. Right. I mean, you're still gonna have to get batteries, but those are a little bit easier to keep track of because you've got electronics that use them. I mean, most of them are rechargeable now, but so 3 AA batteries. It's simple. Twist bottom off. Right. Twist it back on. You can change that. You've got 70 to 100 hours of runtime.
Oh, okay.
Amber goes a little bit longer. The other products on the market usually are about 50 hours of runtime.
Okay.
So
I think 70 is way more than you need, or hopefully.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is this is just like a ladder. You don't use the ladder until you need it. Mm-hmm. You don't go out and just pull over on the side of the road for fun. We hope you don't ever have to use this because that means you're in a dangerous situation, and we don't want that. But that's how life goes, right?
Right.
Side of the road, that's one of the most dangerous places.
Are those Isonis, are they sold in a set or are they sold individually?
Both. So
Okay.
so you'll see if your listeners want to go to my website. I'm selling them through TDS Ladders right now for this deal because it's such a new company. You can buy an individual light, not going to be real effective for the most part. Not going to give you the full effect. What we do, this is a 6-inch cone. It's got the metal top on it. This is kind of what would be ideal for for somebody doing or traveling in an RV. Okay. You're going to get 3 6-inch cones, 3 lights. You can see the rings on the top indicate the color. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You're going to get 3 lights. You're going to get this nice Isonis canvas bag to keep them in. So you just throw this in. And then there's a little zipper here with the battery. So you can add extra batteries right there with it. Okay. You can keep batteries in here. Usually electronics don't like keeping batteries in for a long period of time. So we actually have just a zipper case. Put your batteries in. There's enough for 12 batteries there. You would only need 9. But yeah, you could probably fit a couple extra in there. So we do sell out as a set. 3 6-inch cones, 3 lights, your color of choice with the batteries and the bag. It's going to probably get a save. Most people, it's just like anything else. When you buy it a bundle, you're going to save for buying individual. Buy an individual light for $60 each. You're $180. Buy the cones for $10, $12 each. You're over $200 and you didn't get a bag with it, right?
Right.
And this is just the honest truth about selling products is shipping. It doesn't matter if I go from a certain size to a certain size until I go much bigger or weight, right? Shipping for one single light or shipping for this set will cost the same.
Oh, okay.
Now, customers aren't going to pay for the shipping. I'm going to pay for the shipping. They're going to get free shipping on it. But that's why we can say, okay, we don't have to sell these for over $200 for this set. We can take, we're not paying $10 per light to ship. We're paying $10 to ship the whole or whatever the cost would be. That's the way to do it for people out there. Anytime you're going to do something, try to do a bundle.
The kit comes with the cones and the light.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I like that it's reusable.
Yeah.
That you're not continuing to buy flares. You're not throwing them away. So that's a big deal for RVers. We like reusable things because most RVers do our best to reuse, recycle. What's the saying, Sean, as far as leave no trace behind? And I think you'll find that's very common with most RVers. We really do our best to leave no trace behind and reuse things when we can.
Let me ask you this, because like I said, I don't have an RV. This is kind of a weird thing. As you learn about a different world, right? I learned about the RV world. It's like, oh, there's a lot of perks to living this way.
Yeah.
At some point in life, like I love seeing new places. I'm from Utah. Guess what? All the RVers, they loved it. You know what? The big 5, right?
5, yeah.
The five national parks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody wants to come out there see it. So being in that, I don't have an RV. It's starting to become a possibility later on in life once my kids are, growing, if I can talk my wife into it. So I'll probably ask you guys for some advice later on about how to. Do you guys carry any sort of safety cone or triangle?
I do not, but I've been looking at them recently.
I've been looking at them as well. Yeah, I really feel like it's important and we need it. I just have neglected it over the years, but I'm definitely looking at it.
Yeah, and even the awareness, because you guys reached out to me in January, like that awareness, once you see it and then you don't stop seeing it, it's like, oh man. And then what do you think I see every time I drive down the freeway and I see somebody pulled over? Oh man, I should have pulled over and put some lights out. But the problem is they don't have the lights. So I didn't see them till it was too late.
Yeah.
Right. So what we found, and this is what I found, there's a lot of people that have cones already, and they usually have one, and it's usually a little bit bigger, 12 or 18-inch cone, and they put that out. And sometimes it's just at the park if they're gonna put it out, so people don't kind of cut corners through there, clip the corner. My buddy does that with his fifth wheel. We also do sell a metal top that can fit onto an existing cone, so that you can buy. So if you want just a light, because everybody's different. I just want a light. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but you have an idea of how you're going to use it. And one light's better than no lights.
Before we let you go, is there anything we might have missed or that you want to mention?
I don't think so. I think we kind of covered what I imagined. Just do your research on products, and especially as an RVer, you don't want to buy things over and over again. You don't want to buy more than what you need because of space, but you want to get a good deal. My recommendation is to reach out to companies, and if they're willing to talk to you for products or services or anything, if they're willing to answer the phone and talk to you about that product and be and you have to determine this yourself, be honest with you, because that's how I try to approach it. If somebody doesn't need these, I'll tell them, just go get a cone, just go get a light, just go get a different ladder for your need. This is what I can recommend, though. Reach out to companies because you don't want to have to do things over and over. Do your homework and then ask questions.
Yeah, and we'll put links to your TDS website so people can actually go on there and check out the Little Giant and the Izonis products, and also have that ability there to reach out to you or somebody else that works with you and get more specifics about their situation. But I think these are two products that, as far as pure safety goes, every RVer needs to take a hard look at to be as safe as possible.
For sure. And Sean, like I said earlier, I'll get you a discount code for your listeners that they can use for the ladders. I don't have anything for Izonis. I've already kind of put that at what I can do for the Izonis on the website.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Yeah,
that's
thanks
awesome.
so much for the education. Actually, it was very informative.
I love how Tony took a bad situation and turned it into an opportunity for a new business, and then had to do some quick thinking on his feet with the loss of live shows due to COVID-19. I really enjoyed learning about what it means to be a factory direct store and the benefits of buying with TDS Ladder over other outlets. I believe Little Giant ladders truly are the best ladders for RVs, and if you've been looking to get one for your RV, definitely check out TDS Ladder. Sean and I are both going to take a hard look at the new Izonis Pro Series lights. We both believe safety should never be ignored, and Izonis lines up with our beliefs of quality product that helps reduce waste. Take care, everyone, and safe travels. As always, we would like to thank our sponsor, Battleborn Batteries. It is because of them that we can continue to bring you great content month after month. With Battleborn Batteries, you enjoy more power, longer life, and no maintenance. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.